Good day, my little robins. It's me, Beth. Another week has passed, which means you get another video from me here on this channel, and 2020 is finally coming to an end, which means everybody on YouTube starts uploading their top insert here list of 2020. I'm no different. If you haven't already read the title, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top anime picks of 2020. Yes, this will be probably one of the last anime manga related videos here on the channel, because as of January I'll be moving all that content over to my second channel, msbethrobinson94. I will leave a link up here and probably in the comments below. Anyway, if you guys have different anime choices to me, then the comments is the place to go, because I'm going to be biased towards what I like. Before we begin, if you want to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified of when I upload on this channel. Enough rambling, let's just dive straight into some anime. The first anime I'm going to talk about is Beastars, which is on Netflix. Yes, I know it came out in Japan, I want to say last year, but we only got the dub in 2020. And if you guys haven't been watching like my manga hauls throughout the year, then why haven't you been watching them? I have loved the manga of Beastars because it's also a manga. I've been collecting it, so you know this anime is always going to be high on my list. To give you like a basic rundown of the plot, you have a world where it's filled with animals and they're split into herbivores and carnivores. And you know, it starts with like a herbivore like student is murdered in a school, and like the carnivores are to blame, but you don't really know which carnivore killed the student. But as you get deeper into the world and like you meet characters outside of the school, like the adult animals, then you realise this world is expanded, and there's so many like twists and turns and like plot twists that will have you like, what the hell am I watching? It is also the only time I will ship a wolf and a rabbit. I'm not a furry. I promise you, I am not a furry. But if you want a different kind of anime, then I recommend Beastars. I also want to just tap onto something that, you know, I mentioned in a previous haul, and that was that it's a very good social commentary on like prejudice and like racism to a degree. So if you want a different anime, you know, that takes itself seriously and has a little bit of a social commentary to like the modern world, then Beastars will be the anime for you. The next anime I'm going to talk about is Agretsuko Season 3, again on Netflix, because Netflix has been on par with anime in 2020. And Season 3, if you haven't already watched like the other series, it pretty much follows Agretsuko as she's kind of blackmailed into doing the finances for like this underground idol group, OTM Girls. But then once the manager hears her like death metal voice at like a karaoke, she's kind of again forced and blackmailed into joining the band. And it is so nice to see like Agretsuko in like this whole new like element where, you know, she's loved as an idol compared to when she's kind of crapped on at work. All the side characters are enhanced in this season, and like you are rooting for like Haida to be with Agretsuko at the end, but you're really happy when he finds like a potential like new love interest that you're like, okay, I don't mind who he ends up with as long as my boy is happy. For me, best girl is Monica, who is a bitchy yet serious member of OTM Girls. She is best girl hands down. She wants the band to be a success, and she does care for the other members in her own kind of messed up way. This is really not a series to be overlooked. If you haven't checked out like Agretsuko before Season 3, then, you know, go to Netflix and check it out, because this is not a series to be slept on, and I cannot wait for Season 4. I have my notes because the next series I find it really hard to pronounce. I discovered Boffery. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense as a recommendation on Funimation. If you like comedy and RPGs, then I would say this series is for you. It does follow your like typical fantasy otherworld anime, you know, where they put on like a VR headset and they can go into like an alternative world, but they can come back to reality. Maple, for me, is one of my standout like best girls of the year, because she doesn't want to get hurt, she doesn't want to fight, so she puts all her skills into defense, becoming a tank, which is like, who is like unstoppable and is constantly having to get nerfed by the creators, who at one point are just like, you know what, let's just see what carnage Maple can like, you know, throw at this world. And this also makes Maple Tree, which is her guild, like one of the more unique guilds in the series, because each character is like unique and their personalities are kind of like, you don't want to undermine them as like underdogs, because they've got some powerful like allies, and This series is just so cute, and I guess it's not going to be for everyone because, like I've said, these other world fantasy RPG aren't exactly new to the anime genre, but it was a really cute recommendation. I'm really unsure what I had watched that made Funimation go, you'll like this. But, you know, I watched all 12, I want to say 12 episodes, it could be 13, I believe that's 12, that were all dubbed, and fingers crossed it gets a series 2, because it seemed to be, at the end it said that it would get a season 2, but they're unsure when it will go into production, so fingers crossed it happens in the next couple of years, because I need me some more Maple. Another Funimation suggestion was By the Grace of the Gods, in which 3 gods take pity on a human who's down on his luck who dies, and they give him a second chance, like being reborn in this fantasy world as an 11-year-old where he can start anew, and he becomes a slime tamer because taming animals is a thing in this world, and slimes are kind of bottom of the barrel when it comes to taming, but he has a house full of adorable slimes, and this anime does not really require a lot of thinking. I did binge it in one sitting, and kind of like the previous one, Buffery, don't ask me to try and say that again, it's not for everyone because, again, it's one of your typical fantasies, gods intervene, the main character befriends a wealthy family, you know, who help him get out of, like, hiding in the woods. He joins an adventurers guild, so, like, he can, like, level up and be taken more seriously because he's a weak-ass 11-year-old, but because he's human turned 11, he has all, like, this wealth of knowledge that are, like, are well beyond his years, and everyone's gone, wow, you are a clever 11-year-old, not knowing that he's actually, like, in his late 30s in his human life. Yeah, it's a cute anime. You'll fall in love with the slimes. How I would describe this to people, this anime is almost as if Slime Rancher the game got an anime. This is what the game would be like in anime form, so check it out. Before we get into my honourable mentions of 2020, the last anime I want to talk about that I've been obsessed with is Fire Force Season 2. Very much in the same vein as Beastars, I've been hooked on the manga and I'm currently up to date with, like, all the English releases. And Season 2 of Fire Force was interesting because it introduced so many new characters, and you kind of got more insight into, like, other fire companies and, like, all their personalities and motives. But that doesn't mean the original, you know, like Company 8 or like the original characters from Season 1 get sidelined, because you are learning so much about these characters that you thought you knew, and, like, my opinions were constantly changing, and I was like, are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? Are you on the border? And I'm not going to go into spoiler territory, but my favourite character is Joker, who is my bae. And he has, like, a really, like, dramatic shift in the manga, which I was kind of interested how they were going to, you know, kind of delve into that, you know, end of Season 1 going into Season 2. And oh my god, that shift, I was like, it had me on the edge of my seat. Pretty much I was on the edge of my seat the whole of Season 2. Again, Fire Force, it's not for everyone, but I like it, and this is my anime list. So, you know, if you have your own anime that you liked, then the comments is the place to go. Now let's wrap this up with my honourable mentions. The first honourable mention is Great Pretender Season 1 and Season 2 on Netflix. I got into this series really late into 2020, but I just couldn't not mention it because it's really good, and Netflix, like I've already said, are on point with their animes. If you like heist films and, like, cons and films about, like, criminals, then this series for you. There are a lot of, like, twists and turns, and they've got some of the more enjoyable characters from, like, original characters for, like, 2020, so Great Pretender Season 1 and Season 2, check it out. I'm really surprised this made my honourable mention, but it is the new series of 7 Deadly Sins on Netflix. I don't like the way Netflix, like, label their, like, 7 Deadly Sins series with the OV counting as, like, a series. I know this has been a very 50-50 dividing series, and it has been for a long time. I'm so happy as a 7 Deadly Sins fan to get more 7 Deadly Sins, but the fans, we've dealt with crap animation, and, like, they've changed things, and come on guys, just give us a good animated series of 7 Deadly Sins. It's not too much to ask. And the final honourable mention is a new series that started towards the end of 2020, and that is Moriarty the Patriot, which the manga was actually recommended by one of you guys, so yeah, and when I found out it had an anime, I had to go check it out. And yes, it's Moriarty from the Sherlock Holmes series, except it focuses on him, and it's kind of like his backstory about how he kind of became, like, the king of, like, crime in, like, the underworld. He has like a little crew that follows him around who like helps him do his bidding. It is very dark and can get quite bloody and violent at points, which I wasn't expecting, but oh my god, it's got some of like the best art and I cannot wait for more episodes. It is definitely a series to watch, and you know, if you're a fan of Sherlock Holmes, you like Moriarty, why not check out a series based on him? So there we have it, guys and girls of the internet. That was just my top anime of 2020. Like I already said in the intro, it's going to be biased towards my taste, so you know, if you guys have your own picks, then you know, feel free to go to the comments, because I want to hear what you guys have been watching this year. I have had so many good recommendations like throughout 2020, so you know, I cannot wait to see if you guys have been watching anything different to what I've been watching, and maybe I can spend Christmas watching some good anime. Again, comments, just comment, comment, comment. If you want to support me and the channel in the future, you can by clicking like to show me some love. You can click subscribe and tap that bell to be notified of when I upload on this channel. At the end of this video, you can check out my last 2 videos or playlist, depending on what mood I'm in when I'm editing this. Until next time, enjoy anime for the remaining 2020. I'm Beth. Goodbye.